Okay, welcome back. I've decided the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to launch an attack on what's left of the Senate, if you can call it that, the rebels, which still remain just outside of Rome. Kind of doing this for two reasons. Firstly, we have a chance to retrain all of our units. Anything we lose, we should be able to retrain immediately, just in time for our first legionary first cohort to come in. And secondly, I'm kind of curious just to see what they actually look like on the battlefield with their rebel colours. They're not going to attempt to flee, so we should just be able to march straight up to them. Okay, so they've not spawned themselves at the back, which suggests they're semi-willing to take the fight, I guess. We do have archers, which we can probably use to draw them out a bit. They've got Samnite mercenaries, which are basically spearmen. There are the rebel Hastati, looking kind of weird in those white colours. Towards the back they've got Velites, which are their best range units, and then they've got two units of actually barbarian warlords, so you can't actually get a Roman rebel warlord, I guess. That's kind of strange, because obviously they used to be senators, but they've apparently broken ranks with all things Roman. Okay, so these guys are coming forward. Let's see, are we ready to defend against this? I think we definitely are. Speeding rapidly towards our archers. They've only sent the one unit, so we should be able to pretty easily protect that by charging everything in at once. So it looks like they are going to at least attempt to engage. Thinking this is massively in our favour. Pulling back, they are routing, so that's good. Not just a tactical retreat, we have pretty much scared them off entirely. And then moving towards what's left. It's pretty weak all around. We know we can already handle their strongest units. Samnite mercenaries will actually have a penalty fighting against sword and shield units, so they're not going to be a problem. Hastati are of course massively outdated, and then a single unit of 3 Samnite gladiators. I don't think we even need to engage. They should pretty much run off as soon as we get near to them. Hang on a minute. Oh, I forgot about the reinforcements. Okay, so it's 1 unit of Velites, 1 unit of Hastati. So nothing too scary. We can probably just charge those down with our generals. These guys are taking a couple of losses. Doesn't look like anything to worry about though. I think we can just march straight up to these. In fact, 2 units of Praetorians and 1 unit of Spearmen should do fine against this, so we're just going to march straight in. These guys are fighting. There's a small chance the Hastati are going to come to engage, but they're not a massive threat to us. Surprisingly holding out. Okay. So they got pretty much annihilated. We can easily take out the Samnite mercenaries. I think we have to pretty much wipe out every unit we see. These guys taking lots of losses, not too surprisingly. I think we have to pretty much wipe out every unit we see in order to properly clear them out. Let's see, so the Hastati are throwing their Pila. Need to be a little bit careful with that, we could take an unexpected loss. Just gonna pull back. Okay, let's see. So these guys are actually coming back, going headfirst into Praetorian cohort. A little bit risky. I think we're going to have to send a couple more. They should break pretty quickly because they have already broken once. We are taking pretty heavy losses just from the initial charge. Over here, our units are about to throw their Pila. Auxilia are running in first. We don't actually want that to happen. They're going to be matching up pretty terribly, so we're going to pull them back. Once these guys hit, they should rout, so I think that's fine to send them in. And then I can't really see any other losses happening, so yeah, looks like we managed to scare off the general once again. Okay, so over 100 of them did actually get away, but I'm hoping they're just going to kind of fade away into nothingness. Yeah, it looks like they've just completely gone, so that's great. That is officially the end of the Roman Senate, if we hadn't already accomplished that. For some reason we've picked up a Greek turncoat, which doesn't make a huge amount of sense to me, but okay. Still training these up. Has that actually reset? No, it's not. It kind of looks like it's reset the training queue, but it hasn't. Okay, so we're just going to retrain everything we can. Any relatively healthy looking unit. Probably going to be fine, so we won't bother with these. train up these instead, and yeah, we're going to have pretty much a full force as of the start of next turn, and we can then potentially go immediately to attack Arretium. And in fact, it looks like we already can, but I think it does make sense just to try and hold out for one turn, so we can get that extra boost to our morale from the first cohort. Let's see what's in here though. So it's relatively weak, pretty low tier infantry. Triarii, which are the strongest of course of the Primarian units, but no generals and no archers. So I think we can definitely launch an attack on that next turn, especially if we hit Arminium, or Arminum. Araminum. If we hit Araminum on the same turn, that should be fine. We should be able to take both at the same time. And then over here we're going to put this guy in the ship. First we're going to recruit a couple of extra units just to ensure we can definitely break through. Put everyone onto these ships. And we should be able to fuse these three armies together. And I don't think the Brutii will have any chance at all at standing up to us at Helicarnassus. Back in Italy, we're going to do a little bit more training, so let's keep recruiting the archers. And then towards the south we have a unit of Legionary Cav which we can send to be retrained, and another unit which has freshly been recruited. Over in Sardinia, I'm actually going to completely change my approach. I was originally planning to send them over to the Italian mainland, but it's definitely the western frontier now that I'm the most worried about, both because Britannia is around, and because the Julii are sending quite a few very powerful stacks in our direction, so we're probably actually going to board to the west. And let's make sure we're training, training some Archer Auxilia. So we're going to board to the west, and we're just going to move towards Nabre Martius, or even launch an attack on Massilia. Anything we can do to distract the Julii is probably going to be wise. And then over in Egypt, we have this fight which has been building up for some time. It's a pretty weak force. In fact, even some of its best units are very weak, so only the 6 Pharaoh's Bowmen left there. One pretty strong unit of Pharaoh's Guards, but otherwise pretty weak, so we should be fine just to take the fight. We do have lots of archers here, so we should be able to pretty easily lure them into a trap. Okay, so we're going to approach them from uphill, and we're going to hope that we can kind of draw them into a very unwise clash. Let's see, so they're pretty widely spread, and they're going to attempt to move towards us. Over there they've got, I'm not sure exactly what, looks like Desert Cav. Those can be pretty scary. In particular, they can do quite well against generals' bodyguards and things, so I have to be a little bit careful of them. I think we can potentially scare them off if we go and shoot at them with our camel archers. And then I think we've abandoned our Triarii over there, which is a bit of a problem. I'm going to have to just send them in to fight the Arab Cav. It's kind of okay a matchup for them, but I did kind of forget to deploy them, so we're just going to rely on the fact that they do have a damage bonus here, and hope that they manage to hold out. No, they do rout, unfortunately. Okay, so kind of lost them pretty quickly. They should have done a bit better, like that was actually completely in their favour, but yeah, they didn't hold out too long. Okay, so one unit unfortunately completely lost. Let's see, what else can we do? These guys are all forming up. Don't think they'll quite be in range there, so let's try moving slightly closer. Okay, these guys are moving up. Desert Axemen is fine, don't have to worry about them. Bedouin Warriors, I think, could cause us some problems if they catch up to us. Let's get our cav ready just in case. Okay, so we're firing on them, they're gonna have to come towards us. Put these guys on fire at will. So most of these are Nubian Spearmen, which do of course have that morale stat of 2. So not only are they dropping pretty quickly to the arrows, but also once they actually get close to us, we should be capable of routing them pretty quickly. And it looks like either they're going for the high ground, or they're just fleeing the field entirely, or they're still not exactly sure what to do. But right now they are sitting ducks, and even some of their stronger units have been pretty much completely cleaned out, including the Nile Spearmen. So it's looking pretty good. Skirmishers can't actually reach us, we're not actually in range. I'm not sure what happened to their chariots. Yeah, the chariots are over here, which can cause us some problems, but we've got some pretty densely packed infantry here, so I don't think they should scare us too much. They're a lot scarier in auto-resolve than they actually are on the battlefield. And then yeah, we're pretty much going to be able to just completely empty our arrows on them by the looks of it. We've already taken out at least a couple hundred of them. Really not handling this too well. Yeah, they're just kind of readjusting themselves over and over again and just letting me kill them. Okay, well I'll speed this up until something happens. I imagine they're going to try and charge in at some point. We do have the tactical advantage, definitely. Looks like they're going to try to charge in with some desert cav. I think I'm just going to have to attack these with everything I have. Try to rout them quickly. One weakness they do have is a lack of morale. These guys didn't do a very good job of skirmishing, but it's okay, we scared off the desert cav before we've taken too many losses. Okay, let's see. So Desert Axemen probably best off just charging straight into these. They can do some damage to us. Although actually, again, they don't have the armor-piercing damage, so they're not as scary as they look. They do have pretty good morale. So yeah, they do withstand the charge at first, but they do break eventually. And if that's all they're sending to us, we can just pull back and keep relying on our archers to do the extra damage. Still not really coming towards us. Let's see, so Arab Cav of course is a good target. Egyptian Chariots also will be a very good target for these, so if they're in range, we should definitely have a go. Focusing them down. So yeah, they're still not coming towards us. We've absolutely annihilated them. Even some of their elite units, these are Pharaoh's guards, and it looks like I can't actually see any of them left. Not sure if we scared them off altogether or just literally killed all of them. I don't know if I've seen the AI do a worse job in this campaign so far. They're really making no effort at all to even attempt to survive or win the fight. Let's move in that little bit closer. I think I've been kind of operating this whole time on the assumption that when they attack you, that's for the best because you can kind of lure them into that tactical blunder. But actually if you attack them, they can become so passive that it's incredibly easy to win. We are taking a few losses here now, not sure what's attacking us. Bedouin archers, so that's basically the equivalent of, yeah, what we have here. They've not managed to do too much damage to us. I think actually the only reason they fired on us there, as far as I can tell, the only reason they fired on us there was because we kind of turned our backs to them, and now that we're facing... Okay, I stand corrected, they are still shooting at us, they're just not doing any damage. Yeah, some units, if you have a high enough armor stat, they actually won't attack you. Should we go for this? I think we have no choice. Some units, if you have a high enough armor stat, they won't actually attack you from head-on, because they just see it as a waste of their arrows. This is a problem because they're camels, but yeah, we do manage to scare them off first because of our numbers, so we're fine. Okay, so the general is considering coming in, but decides not to. Archers still all firing, so we're gradually taking them out. And they're not actually leaving the field yet. I'm not sure if they can, because they have tried to back off a few times. Let's see. Bedouin archers starting to drop now. Yeah, they've pretty much got nothing left. In fact, if we charge them, we can probably just completely rout them, but I don't see the point. Yeah, it's really just the cav left now, and they're even easier targets. Okay, let's start moving slightly closer. Hang on. Might have baited them into going for the attack here. It's probably not the best thing to do in hindsight, because we will take at least a few losses now, but they must have pretty bad morale at this point. So it should be able to scare them off, I think. Let's try and get around the back of them. Yeah, so we're taking some pretty heavy losses to one of our units here, but they should break pretty quick, which yes they do. Family members dead. Okay, so we're probably going to have a hard time chasing down the Arab Cav, but we'll see what we can do. Slight risk of friendly fire here, but probably worth it. No, let's not do that. Yeah, taking loads of losses there. Okay, yeah, so we did take some pretty heavy losses on one of our units, but obviously, still massively in our favor overall. I got a little bit impatient.
This is a heroic victory.
There we go. 18-to-1 kill ratio, not bad.
Victory!
Okay, so the army has completely dissolved, but unfortunately no retinue expansion or anything like that. So we're just going to move on.
Prepare for battle. At your service. Secrecy is a
And we're going to see what comes up next. So there's a pretty big force here. It's not really much more elite than the previous one. Maybe slightly better, but still definitely manageable. And then in this town, relatively elite. could cause us some problems, but yeah, I think we're definitely going to be able to handle that. Potentially, if they combine all their forces into one, they could cause us some problems, but again, Nubian Spearmen, I don't think they did anything to us in the last fight, so it's looking pretty good. And we are going to attempt to send a bit of backup. If we can, if they can reach in time. Alexandria's doing fine. Let's see if we can actually boost our income, that might be worth doing. Okay, so the population 12,000. I'm actually tempted by communal farming, so it'll probably pay for itself, so yeah, I will actually do that. Don't think they're going to actually rebel against us or anything like that. We do actually have quite a few units just kind of stood around in Apollonia, so I think we should probably pick them up and start bringing them over. So there's a couple of weak navies here we should be able to easily scare off. And we'll park ourselves here. We'll pick up pretty much everything. I'm going to leave behind the Auxilia. Hopefully it won't go terrible for the public order. Yeah, still seems relatively okay, so if we pick up an extra unit of peasants, that should make that fine. And then we can potentially bring these guys over too, but I'm going to send them up to back up our hero, or whatever he's called, commander, up there. We can drop these off potentially, but I think they're going to be best off helping out against the Julii, so let's move in that direction. Let's check that we can handle these as well. They might be the ones we already fought. Oh wow, actually. Good thing I checked that, so there's a pretty huge Julii force here. If we can take them out next turn, that'll be fine. But if we can't, they could land. And that could be an extra big fight coming up. So worth being prepared for that. Otherwise, I don't really think there's too much else we can do this turn. We've got 16k in the bank, so we could just randomly start buying buildings and things, but I don't think there's a massive need to. I'll get the arena because it's cheap and it's going to boost our public order. There's not a huge amount of stuff we can buy. I'm going to pick up one of these. I don't know how to pronounce it, but best naval unit in the game, so I'm going to pick it up. Just because we can. It's actually 3 turns to recruit, which is pretty extreme. But I'm assuming it's going to be worth it. And last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Armourer in Capua. Yeah, we're just going to end the turn and see what happens. I might have forgotten a few things, but I think we should be okay. Brutii are going to try and spy on Apollonia, that's fine, they have no chance of taking that. So this guy can actually get around to us, and he's going to try and fight us. He has to come to us, which doesn't necessarily mean we're going to have an easy time. Yeah, he's pretty strong, pretty heavily cavalry based. Very heavily cavalry based. Okay, so we've got lots of archers. We might have a slightly hard time defending them, but we do have a couple of units of hoplites, and we've got some reinforcements coming up, just in case we do take heavy losses. Okay, we're going almost for like a full noob box here. Not quite a full noob box, but they're going to have a very hard time actually getting around to flank us. We've got, of course, a very large number of archers, which I think we're going to be relying on pretty heavily. And then in the front, we've got our units of legionaries, which I'm hoping will be able to withstand a couple of charges. On the flanks, we've got our 2 units of hoplites, and then at the back, hopefully just to fill in any gaps, we've got a few Principes and our cav. So we'll see how it goes. They are going to be both coming from the same direction, which is good. I don't think they have many, if any, ranged units. Maybe a couple of cav auxilia. These are just normal auxilia, so that's fine. Wardogs are not going to be able to get through us at all. Not worried about them. They have loads of wardogs by the looks of it. Loads of units in general. Oh, they have got a ballista, so I might have to go and catch that out. Otherwise, though, I'm not really seeing what they can do about this. I think we'll just have to wait till they get slightly closer. Okay, so they're now in range of our Cretan archers. And they have still got a couple of units of ballista towards the back, but as far as I can tell, they're too far away to actually do anything. So I'm not going to worry about them yet. They do have 1 unit of Archer Auxilia. But obviously that's not going to stand up to the fact that we have 7 units. Some of which are obviously better than Archer Auxilia. They're not actually firing on us at all yet, taking some heavy losses to the Auxilia. I'm assuming we have enough ammo here that we don't need to like be precious about it, and we can just let loose on the Auxilia. Obviously not the ideal choice of target. Let's see if we can focus down the Archer Auxilia, because right now that's the only concrete threat to us. And I'm tempted to try and get around the back here, but it's going to be a little bit difficult. They do have cavalry on their flanks, so if we try to sneak past, we could get caught out. I don't necessarily want to go for that. It looks like they are going to go for the full frontal attack. Let's see. So already wiped out pretty much all the Archer Auxilia. Okay, so I'm going to stop firing at them and just start firing at will. If we can shoot down the general, actually, that would probably be a better choice. Actually managed to rout them before they've done anything, so that's great. Okay, they're now kind of turning back. Not sure why. That's going to make them very easy to kill. The AI always makes this mistake. And now they turn back again. Okay, fine. Alright, we'll continue firing at the general. He's an easy target, and if we rout him, the rest probably won't stand up to us too much. Ballista. Can't tell if it's firing on us. I think, yeah, they're still too far away, so that's fine. Dropping them really quickly. They should rout. And wardogs, I don't think are going to be able to get through our legions at all. Let's see, okay, so they're getting a bit desperate now, they're getting ready to charge in. There's a little bit of a risk here. I mean, our hoplite line is not massively solid, and I probably shouldn't have tried to move them. Okay, so we've routed them. His armies are trying to come forward. We are taking a few losses. I'm going to put these guys in guard mode so they don't all break formation, which these guys are at least trying to. Let's see here. So Auxilia there, they're going to be fine. We can handle those fine. Okay, so what are they actually going to threaten us with? So they could threaten us with a Roman cav on the flank here, but they're not really using them properly. And okay, so they're going to go fully onto this flank. Go for a strong charge. I'm not sure why these guys are running forward. I guess we did command them to focus down the general unit, which not working too well for us right now. Let's see if we can reform. It's not the best, but it'll have to do. Taking heavy losses here, but we are fighting them downhill, so I'm hoping we can break them before they break us. Got our general coming in too. Let's see, we should break them if we can hit them. Wardog's starting to come in. I'm going to pull away from these. I don't think that's the best fight for us. Oh, they almost caught us there. They almost got a really good flank attack going, and then they just decided not to. Really?
General has fallen and caused his troops much heartache. Much better to have lived.
Like, nobody else has died, and the general just... great. Okay, fine. Our morale should hold out. That's really annoying, though. Because we don't actually have any other family members near there, so yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. They're going for a stronger attack on this side, but it doesn't really work out. Doesn't really matter what happens to these guys now, they have lost their leader, so we're pretty much free to spend them as we please. Let's try and ignore the wardogs, and let's try and go for the ballistas, because I'm expecting they will be able to start shooting at us soon. We're going to take a few losses on our way. Roman cav there could attack us. No, I'm going to try and go straight for ballistas. They are firing on us. Hoplites are actually broken. They've been attacked from the back. Okay. Fine. Shouldn't have gone that badly, but still. Roman cav, just basic, so we should be able to handle them. Might actually charge into them with the archers, just because otherwise I feel like we're going to get caught out. So what's left of the bodyguard unit is fleeing, so we're probably going to have to attempt to run downhill. Look at this. What are they even going for? So many dogs. Okay, so what's actually happening? So these guys are fighting someone, but managed to rout them straight away, so that's fine. Oh, they're actually going for the general's bodyguard. Oh my god. So many dogs, and they're gonna kill us. Can I bait them towards the legionnaires, because I don't want them fighting the archers. It is quite amusing to watch, but I'm conscious that while all this is going on, we're taking major losses elsewhere. Okay, so these guys have caught up to the cav and they are fighting them. And what I really want is for these guys to actually get a bit closer. Luckily, our archers are actually able to rout the unit of Roman cav there, so that's good. These guys have regained their courage. Let's see, so the wardogs are starting to approach now. Not sure how many losses we're taking to the ballistas. Yeah, it's actually taking a bit of a turn. Thought we'd pretty much scared them all off. Archers are all still firing, so we should get a few kills. These guys are wasting their time chasing down a couple of bodyguards, so that's all fine. That's one of the reasons I don't really use them much myself, because you do just lose control of them. Kind of like a slightly crappier version of berserkers. Although the one good thing about wardogs is they do regenerate, which is pretty decent, because most units of course won't do that at all. Okay, Roman armor general there, gotta be careful of that. We don't have much to actually take them on with. These guys are just not moving, so they're gonna get, I think they're gonna get routed. I'm gonna have to bring these guys around pretty quickly. Yeah, they did get routed. Yeah, this is not good actually. These guys are supposed to be on skirmish mode, but they're just letting themselves get absolutely swallowed up. See if we can bring these in, but I suspect not. Okay, so we lost a unit of Cretians, which is always painful. I feel like this would be okay if we hadn't lost the general. The hoplites, for one thing, wouldn't have broken quite so easy. If we can get multiple units of legionnaires in here, we might be okay. I think we are going to have to send in pretty much everything. Let's try to ignore the rest. We can fire at these in the back. Might just about work. Starting to rout our legionnaires too. Just have to hope they don't get the mass rout. I don't trust these guys at all. In fact, they're wavering before they've even started properly engaging. These guys are being charged down. Yeah, we could actually lose this fight, I think. It's really turned for the worse. Too many archers, and at this point we can't really do anything with them. We've got to take out their general. He's shaken. He's seeing his allies flee. This is turning out to be a pretty close one. I'm going to actually run in some archers just to get the flank going. That's worked for me in the past. These guys are going to have to deal with these. There we go. Let's try and kill him. Really worth trying to shoot this guy down because I think he's a family member. I could be wrong. Yeah, he's definitely a family member because he's the armed general. Yeah, I've got to try and take him out. Fortunately, he's starting to move towards us. I can see him right there. I think. There he is. He's still giving commands as he flees. Surely we can shoot him down. We might still be taking losses to the ballistas for all I know. Yeah, definitely could be. Okay, it's time for us to go on the offensive, I think. I think he might actually get away, which is really upsetting. Lots of his units dying. He's at the back too, so you'd think we'd be able to kill him, but no, I don't see it happening now. It's too far away. These guys are getting destroyed by something. They got some more Roman cav. Okay, we got the numbers here. Do I think the general's regained courage? No, I think he's going to leave the field. Yeah, really heavy losses here, but fortunately we do have a few extra units we can use. We've both lost generals, so just got to rely on the fact that we have better morale than they do. And they're a worse unit in general, so yeah, they do break. Okay, what else can we do? You guys go for the ballistas. General's gone. That's fine, we can chase him down. As long as we catch him within the next few turns, he shouldn't be able to get all of his men back.
The enemy show their true virtue. They are not soldiers, only frightened rabbits run.
There we go. Okay, so we did win the fight in the end. It looked a little bit dodgy at points. We've lost all our cav. We've lost one unit of Cretan archers, but we do actually have two mostly still alive. I think there's friendly fire going on here, which is not good because we cannot replenish these. But yeah, overall that could have gone a lot worse. Okay, so we did actually get a lot more kills than they did, but it felt pretty bad at certain points there. Let's see who actually did really well here. So Cretan archers actually did manage to get quite a few kills in the end. Even the unit that got destroyed managed to get nearly as many kills as losses. Velites, unsurprisingly, did pretty badly. Roman Armored General, yeah, did really poorly. 45 kills. Gained experience too, which is really unfortunate because, of course, he would have been good if he had survived. Maybe we'll get Man of the Hour if we're lucky. We'll see. Okay, so we don't take the town. And the Julii have actually come to attempt to fight us off here, which is interesting. Unfortunately, they do go for the captain instead of Marcellus Victor. So we don't get to benefit too directly from his... I think that's 8 command stars. Yeah, we can't benefit too directly from that, but we should be able to bring him in slowly. Should get a few of his units in straight away. I can't tell what Captain Titus has, but if we do win this fight, we should be able to take the town pretty quickly afterwards. Do we not get reinforcements too? This is concerning. There's no sign of them. I'm not sure why this happens. I really don't understand this. Look at this. They got two massive forces coming in, and we're left with just a tiny number of units. We have got a hill, but I was kind of relying on the rest coming in too. So I could just try to flee straight away instead of taking this. I mean, we have a good position here, but there's no way we could win against that many units. Let's see what they have too. Okay, so Auxilia are obviously not scary at all. And they do have some archers. And they do have some legionnaires. Yeah, they've got the kind of typical Roman mix. A lot of post-Marian units. Praetorian cohorts probably slightly better than legionnaires overall. So, yeah, I mean, if no one's gonna come up, I think we're gonna have to duck out. Yeah, I don't know how to explain that. They're supposed to be here. They're supposed to be a part of the fight, both of them. But there's just no sign of them on the field itself. And we needed them to show up straight away, because obviously they're coming with 3,500 men. Should be massively in our favour, but I just don't understand the game sometimes. I don't know why that happens. That actually broke the siege. That is so stupid. Seriously.
Imperator, General, sir.
I just attack it with this. No, I can't even attack it by separating the general. I guess I could attack it with this guy. Would he be reinforced? I should think he would. We've got lots of cav here. That is just like, that is unbelievable. We've been besieging that for ages. That's so weird. I don't understand. Like, are the reinforcements going to come in later? Because they get their reinforcements straight away. If we'd given them command, if we'd given the command to the AI, it might have worked slightly better. But even then, like, you don't want to rely on them. Pontus has overtaken us as the most advanced faction. Okay. All right, I'm gonna say this is. I mean, that's a bad development, but overall, we have made some progress. So let's see. If we were to just assault this, very little in there. Join you guys up. Okay, that should be pretty decisive in our favor now. Let's see if we can get a man of the hour this time. Okay, so they are actually going to be backed up, but I don't think this is worth taking manually. I'm just going to go for it. Ah, but I forgot about the Cretians. Yeah, so I'm not really covering myself in glory right now. We do take the settlement. But yeah, we've lost quite a few Cretians there, which sucks. It's kind of choking because I'm so frustrated by what happened over here. We should still be able to take them if they actually come for a fair fight, but yeah, that really sucks. Definitely lost a couple of units there too. If we attack with this, yeah, we get reinforced, so job done. How many more Cretians did we lose there? Not sure we lost any that time at least. Okay, so it's been messy. It's been messy, but we're not going to let that kind of last little frustration spoil what was otherwise a fairly successful episode. We've made some progress. We've taken at least one town, and we're readying to launch our attack on Halicarnassus, which in fact we might be able to go for it. Let's see. So we've got like 6 units here. If we were to go in with these, in addition to these, that should actually be enough. So we can probably launch the attack straight away. Might be able to pick up a few mercenaries too. Yeah, let's give this a go.
Aye, Captain. Aye, aye, Captain. General, orders? Yes, Captain. Splitting the troops. Ready to sail. Aye, aye, Captain.
Okay,
General,
so we're able to besiege these guys. We can pick up a few reinforcements. It's just the reinforcements we already had available to us elsewhere, but we're going to pick them up just to absolutely make sure before the rest of our backup arrives.
yes, Captain.
And yeah, we're still pressing at least. It's
General.
been kind of messy. We can launch the attack on these guys too, but that might be something we have to do in the next part. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.